So we are at 1:30 and it is Wednesday. What's Up Wednesday live in the month of February, where we are showing our love today for the work of the heart that is all that we do in child nutrition. I cannot be more excited about today. I think this is probably my favorite episode thus far. We've been doing this for those of you who have been with us throughout the pandemic. It started as like a little silver lining, and now that we have really found a day of the month where we can zoom into you and connect with you, we wanted to keep it going. So this marks our first ever announcement of what we did, if you were with us in December and January, called our Mystery Chef. So we have a packed show today. The most of it is going to be fun and interactive. We have lots of special guests that will be joining us via panel, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, Pasonic Partners really always wants you to be thinking innovative and outside of the box. And so we'll talk a little bit at the end about if you're interested in what you saw today. If you too feel like food is a work of the heart like we do, we are going to give you resources by the end of today that will help you use some of the tools and recipes you've learned about today, and also engage your staff in moving your program to the next level. So as always, I am grateful, so ever grateful for my partners in this life and in the work we do. Sandridge, again, is graciously hosting us. We're in this beautiful Sandridge kitchen. Gordon Food Service is supporting our mystery chef. And then, of course, my team. So from the bottom of my heart to my team, this was a feat to pull off over the last couple of months. Lots of judging, lots of fun stuff. So we have a lot of gratitude this month, and lots of love to share with you today. We will start with the business of the matters. As always, at What's Up Wednesday, we are hopeful to provide you, both the Facebook Live people, our web people, and the people that view us after today's session, with information that will help you meet professional standards, but also understand best practices for running your program. So today, as always, we will start up, always not the most fun things, but we're going to get them out of the way. The admin roundup. Sorry, Sarah, you are always fun, but we always give you the, the food safety and what you need to know about admin reviews. So we will start there, and we will then move into menu matters. Marge is our only Pasonic that will be joining us virtually today. All the rest of us are in studio, but Marge is our queen, the queen of Healthy Meal Planner Pro, and in exciting ways for you to think about your March menus, because again, we're in February, but we're planning for some special fun events and menus in March. So stay tuned for our menu matters and inspiration. And then we were beyond words of just blown away with our mystery chef. But let's just be honest, every month we come to you, we catch somebody somewhere doing something good. And we always include that in this segment because, again, for a point of gratitude, we love all the work you do. And so if you are doing something that you want to see featured on Caught doing something good, we all win when one wins. So today we have some really cool things to share. And if you think you're doing something good, make sure you let us know so we can share you out, not only in our newsletter, but on this live event. And then, it's like the elephant in the room here. We have some awards and some things hiding around the studio. We will talk about who won the mystery chef and do some fun cooking. So with that being said, let's get to the business and get going. So I'm going to invite Sarah Carlson in to take us over on to our admin roundup.
All right. So we just have a couple of things this month. Things are kind of settling down, right? This is a less busy time of the year as far as admin and all of those things. So just a couple of things to make you guys aware of. It is February, so next month your food service license do expire. So please make sure that you have reached out to your health department and you have paid your dues. Yes, it's just like tax season. You probably owe Uncle Sam money. You also owe the health department a little bit of money as well. So just make sure that you get those. I know in the last couple of years, they've been a little behind, but just make sure that that is on their radar and that you've at least paid your dues and you can show that. Some other things, I know there's been a lot of chatter about sodium and sugar restrictions coming down the pipe. This is just proposed, guys, as of right now. Comments are open. We will share out a link with you in our end of What's Up Wednesday roundup newsletter that you guys get from us. Please, if you have thoughts, feelings, opinions about this, please go in and give the USDA your feedback. This is our opportunity to be able to share with them that information. And then school fund meal debt. I know we're all kind of at this place of like, what do we do? Our friend Jill Garst is sending out a form for everyone to fill out. She is from Stone Mineral Falls. So please, if you get that from her and have time, please fill out that information so we can see what you all are doing and share that so that we can find the best process moving forward. I know we all want to feed kids. That's why we're all here. And we are trying to figure out what does that look like now that everybody isn't universal free. So those are the big items for ODE compliance and updates. So then I will pass it to Gina, and she's going to talk a little, or I'm sorry, to Marge to talk about Menu Matters.
Thanks, Sarah. Marge.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm not in studio there with you guys, but want to talk about some inspiration for the coming up month. If I could have that first slide. So we all know what comes up in March, and it is National School Breakfast Week. So really taking this time to highlight breakfast, importance of breakfast. This would be a great opportunity to try some new things on your menu. And again, we're always kind of steal this idea, some things that I think are maybe some new things, creative things. The one picture here is some apple nachos. So, you know, nachos are a favorite day at lunch. What about some apple nachos at breakfast that are just sliced apples with some yogurt, granola? You could even drizzle a little bit of caramel sauce on there before those sugar guidelines start coming down the pike. So that's an idea. If you are someone who your school kind of does more sweet breakfast, this would be a great opportunity to try something savory. So I think, again, going along that Mexican theme, but a breakfast tortilla wrap is a great idea to try. And then sometimes it's just how you present things. So the next slide has some of those things that you may have on your menu, but when you present them in a different way, it just makes it fun and unique for the week. And this was, I thought, some great ideas just to take those donut holes, but put them in a cup with the dome lid and add the fruit right there. So that's a great grab and go. And the one on the bottom there, they paired, again, some mini powdered donuts with a smoothie. So if you don't do smoothies, that's a great way. I think that's a pineapple mango smoothie there. And then I love that kind of banana split yogurt parfait, something different, creative, great presentation there. There are a lot of great resources available, and I will drop some of those in the chat if you're not familiar with or haven't seen the resources that are available through the school nutrition. And also we got some great recipe ideas from Bridgeford. So I will drop those in the chat when I am done here. International Waffle Day. I thought this was great that it's in March, but you may also steal some of these ideas for on a breakfast menu too. So particularly the one on the bottom, I thought was very creative, using like a breaded chicken nugget there, but making it as more of that sweet savory in between a waffle kind of sandwich. There's a parfait that uses, again, you could use a waffle as a dipper with some cereal on it to just kind of brighten it up. So maybe dual purpose that International Waffle Day with breakfast school, National Breakfast Week. And of course, any of those recipes or concepts that you like, or if we manage your menus, just our support at pplc.info is the best way to communicate with us any of those recipes or changes that you might want to make on your menu. So I thank you, and I'll pass it back to the team in the studio.
Well, we miss you here, but we appreciate your knowledge and your speedy nature of updating menus. And for those of you who aren't Pasonic schools, the support desk is a great way to reach out and say, hey, I saw a recipe and I'm interested in learning more. That email, support@pplc, will get you beelined into all of us. and exclusively into information about how we share. We are a sharing group recipes, as we are going to do today, and talk about what's going on in other school districts that are high participating menus. And so again, March being all things National Breakfast Week, it is National Nutrition Month in March as well. Lots of themes, lots of turnkey ideas and resources. Please tap into them and help us make your March a memorable March and one that you are excited to celebrate. Speaking of excited to celebrate, I have my friend Gina here with me. She is our newest Pasonic Partners. Many of you know her, and she has been kicking butt. First AR in the books, doing awesome. We are rocking out. And so she's got a lot to, again, be excited and proud about. And so one of the things about being a Pasonic partner is to really celebrate all of you. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and you get to celebrate. A lot of these are your schools that you're leading.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Yes, one of my favorite things is going into the schools and seeing just the hard work that everybody puts into making fresh salads, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables for all the kids. And here we have Maple Heights High School. The students love a great salad and the staff feel that love. And here's a bunch of their salads that they had made for them. And those, I see them get eaten up every single lunch line. So that's awesome that the kids are eating their vegetables and loving it.
And I love that you said staff. That's a good point. So we oftentimes, it's kind of cool, especially in schools with high need and the stress teachers, we talk about showing teacher appreciation. Sometimes those salads end up being on the teachers' trays as much as they do the students. So if you are thinking about ways to invite staff participation, those salads are a good win too. So
Yes. And then we have in East Cleveland at Superior Elementary School, one of their staff members made little treats for the kids. They have a little school, so they were able to do these for the students as a little Valentine treat. She did the pink applesauce for the girls and the blue applesauce for the boys, and put little top hats on there for them too, and made little people for them so that they were excited about having a little treat that also has some nutritious stuff in there too.
Labor of love.
Yes,
We love our
yes.
Ann Gabriel. I see you on here, girl. You are rocking it. Talk about new leadership and taking something as simple as a commodity applesauce cup and making it fun. So great job to Ann Gabriel and all of our team members over at East Cleveland.
Yep. Stone Monroe Falls High School is feeling the love on Valentine's Day, and they have a little tree there that has some little decorations on it so they had instead of a Christmas tree, they had a Valentine's Day tree.
I love keep the tree up all year long. Just keep changing the themes. My husband hates that. I have one that we've done at our house too. And this year came down a little early, but it is fun to repurpose decorations. I see many of you on social media doing similar decorations using number 10 cans. All that is so fun. Not only, if you think about the number of hours you spend in your kitchens, it really does make that warm and fuzzy feeling, not only for the students who get excited to kind of check out your decor, but also for your family, which is your staff that you work with every day. So I love when schools take that extra step to really get involved with decorating their kitchens and share those with us, because we think that's a really good way to build your team's morale and just really be excited about your space that you spend a lot of time in and work a lot of hours in. We know that.
All right, and then our last one is at the Lorraine County Head Start. The little babies had their little avocado try day, and look at those smiles and how excited they are about getting to try something new. And of all things, avocados. Little kids you wouldn't think would love them, but look at those faces. They definitely did enjoy that.
Start young, start early. So a lot of us are thinking about our menus for next year, right? So as we launch into what we're going to talk to you about, which is hopefully inspiring you with some new recipes that our mystery box revealed to us, think about this. Those are some try days happening at some really young, impressionable ages. And so when you're thinking about new menu ideas, I would not discourage you from thinking about your elementary schools. A lot of us do this at the secondary and at the high school. It is really easy to do thumbs up, thumbs down emojis, just a raise of the hand and taking a tally. If you have an intern that works with you or is celebrating time and learning about school nutrition, it's a great use of a student's time or a volunteer's time to help you gauge. One of our favorite tricks of the trade is also just a simple sticker board. Did you like it? Didn't you? Hand a sticker out. Kids love to stick things. You hope they stick it at the right place in terms of on the paper, not the wall. But a sticker board really does show popularity. It's done really quickly, efficiently, and it can be celebrated with our youngest students who are savvy and have a very fine-tuned taste. I think we discredit our youngest sometimes and go right to the secondary and the middle school or high school to give us feedback. Tri-Days at the elementary school starts them young. And again, you earn their participation and then they grow with you in your school district. So never forget about the littles. We love them, not to mention the fact it'll make you smile. So get some value for your hard work and your Tri-Days by seeing the smiles on the littlest faces. So I feel like I'm dragging this out, but I'm just so excited to announce that.
I know.
I'm so excited. So now we are here. I feel like I want to do the drum roll, but we have some things to talk about because for those of you who did not join us, we talked a little bit about this in December and January. So we are first ever coming to the conclusion and the announcement of our winner today for our mystery box competition. But when I say the winner, I mean, I am going to say this. I mean, I think we all felt like we won. The team here at Sandridge, my team, the judges, as we zoomed in with these really innovative, excited, dedicated professionals and got to spend a part of an afternoon to kind of have them present their recipes to us virtually. The only short-sightedness I had was that darn if I didn't want to eat every bit of those meals that these creative chefs came up with, and we had to see them and hear about them, but we didn't get to taste them. Except today, we'll have some opportunity to do that. So I'm excited. So first, let's talk about our participating school districts. For those that missed it, we have with us, most of these folks are on the call. Those that couldn't make it, we still want to acknowledge Boardman, Natalie Winkle, I know you're on and I'm excited you're here. Cuyahoga Heights, Mark Chase, funny gentleman, great, this was a thing for us. Mark Chase is not a head cook, he's not a food service director, he was just somebody that is in a kitchen that heard about this competition and said, hey, I want to do it. So it opened my eyes to thinking, wow, that was a really cool, and Pam Mead's awesome there as well, but it was really cool that a frontline staff member got excited about the Mystery Chef and joined us this year. Of course, many of you know our own Diana Hill. She is awesome and always raising her hand to do innovative recipes. She joined us from Fairview Park. And then, Marcia is just one of our soul sisters and always encourages her staff to participate in Pasonic events and training events. And so we actually had two of her sites join us for this Mystery Chef because, they are just so used to us. We're kind of, again, like that kinship we've grown with that district. We also had a really creative use of an intern. I talked about intern and student support. So Andrew Mendez, many of you know him from Kenston, contacted me and said, hey, I would love this idea for my intern to have like a special project to be a part of this. So what does Maureen say? Of course, yes, pay it forward. We always want to start grooming young and innovative school nutrition professionals, and those could be in the form of student volunteers, interns, you name it. Plain local, again, Jen Rex, another tried and true soul sister, one of our early adopters to our professional development. And also besides us, let's move out of her way because she is an innovator and has always been an innovator where we're learning from her. So constantly inspiring us. And she had a great Amanda, who is a chef, come and do our Mystery Chef. Stone Monroe Falls. Okay, so they started from not having a program to having a program that's kicking butt. So Jill joined us and I'm really proud of her effort from turning the program in a different direction in a very short period of time. Jess Stone, I mean, I don't know what more to say about Jess, but I think she is my spirit animal. Well, I just know that she is as enticed with service and being a part of school nutrition. I just think it, like, if you cut her, it bleeds that. So Jess, of course, she is again one of us, even she's just one of us, and we love her, and so we're excited to have Jess be a part of this today. And then Lauren Bush, Upper Sandusky. Talk about people that are not Pasonic schools, right? So Pasonic schools, people say, oh, I didn't do it because I'm not at Pasonic school. Everybody's a Pasonic school because we want to share the wealth and we are not competitive restaurants. So Upper Sandusky is a school site that reached out to us to be on the Mystery Chef competition, and they do their own thing out there in Upper Sandusky. And we were so excited to see what they brought to this Mystery Chef competition as well. And last but not least, so for those of you who know me from way back when, Hudson was my first school district, well, second really, but the first partner school district, I managed both Hudson and Talmadge. So Talmadge, I think, is like the OG on this panel in terms of working with Marine Pasonic and Team Pasonic as it relates. And we had Karen, who, congratulations, just passed and finished with her own nutrition degree, and amidst all her busy studies, still pulled off a Mystery Chef box. So you can never be too busy to be a joiner, and we were thrilled that Karen joined. So I want to talk a little bit about our criteria, what we looked at, so you guys kind of get a sense of what we were thinking about during this process. So the first thing is, Pasonic was only a portion of the score. We didn't want you to think we cheated and we have favorites. We don't play favorites. We love you all. But we did have all of our team members judge on a criteria, and then we averaged our Pasonic scores to be a part of 2 other scores that were added and averaged to get the total winning award amount. So again, many of the products we used were Sandridge products. And Sandridge, Keith Amos, is kind of like just my buddy. He's like my big brother over here at Sandridge, allows us to come in and mess up his house and get crazy in here. And so we were really fortunate to have him join us. And so the way the judging happened was via Zoom, and we did set up appointments. And so the mystery boxes were delivered, and a week later, our teams had to join us for about a half hour to really demonstrate the recipe and show us in picture and video and story form and dialogue what they did with the recipe box. So Keith helped us organize all of that. And again, it was based on Sandridge and Gordon Food Service doing this in the healthcare segment. So wasn't brand new to what Sandridge and GFS has done, but it is brand new, cutting edge, first time ever done in child nutrition in the state of Ohio. So we are super pumped to help be a conduit for that. So Holly McGarry, for many of you who know, she is a broker extraordinaire. She's also a dietitian. She's a mom. She, again, kind of is like a ride or die for me. I always call her about commodity foods and what's going on in the industry. And she was gracious enough to join us. That little stinker is in Hawaii somewhere, like sitting on a beach. So Holly, I know you're not watching this Facebook Live, but you might watch the recording. I am totally jealous, but you deserved a vacation. So I'm glad you're taking that. But Holly was a part of all of this. And is taking a much needed vacation. And so we want to acknowledge her efforts here. So when we talk about criteria, we used a grading scale consistently across the contestants. And these are the categories we really focused in on. So we used creativity, obviously thinking through out of the box. The biggest thing for us is that we don't limit ourselves to products, right? So part of this mystery chef, at least in my opinion, was to really start, changing the conversation that we only have a sub list that's just for K-12 and that's all we can pull from to create recipes for kids. It's not. So the first idea is, what can we take that really maybe typically isn't a school product and be creative with it and make it school friendly? The second is appeal. What do we always say? It's not nutrition unless they eat it, right? So, and we know we have savvy consumers and picky consumers. So this box was challenging for you all. I think you guys did an awesome job with things like quinoa and cranberry relish and, Brussels sprouts that are shaved, all these things that, typically people shy away from because they think their kids won't like it. And what do we see in these recipes but creativity and appeal? And we think many kids liked it. And some of them even told us that. And you'll see some of that today as we kind of go through the winners and the superlatives. Secondly, people eat with the 5 senses. We talk about the smell and the taste. Unfortunately, we couldn't smell or taste these recipes, but boy, did we ever see them. And the food presentation knocked our socks off. So we know about trayscapes. We talked about that at the beginning of our back to school boot camp, and we've woven that in throughout our presentations here with you, because if you can't get kids to come in and be visually wowed by your food, you're going to have a hard time for them to try anything new. And certainly it's going to make their experience less than ideal, and yours pretty boring. So when we talk about eat the rainbow and make colorful trayscapes and really be mindful about how that recipe presents, that's going to be, besides seeing it on the menu and coming in and smelling it and hearing the sounds of a friendly customer service in your food service line, the visual appeal of what we saw come through on these recipes really inspired us. And so we hope it inspires you as well. And we looked at that. Faves, again, a shout out to our Stop Waste and Hunger initiative in the state of Ohio. For those of you who saw, we were highlighted in the Stop Waste blog this month with Tony down in Hamilton County. And I'm going to give him full credit on this. Faves is his acronym, which just inspired me to, I just love a good acronym, but FAVE stands for it's fun. Who wants to eat something that's not fun? Kids don't. We don't want to make things that aren't fun. It's better to have fun. So fun is the first. Accessible, meaning we can order it and get it in. Let's talk about that. No offense to GFS and supply chain and all that, but we want to make sure it's accessible to us to get in, accessible for our team to use. And we want to make sure it's accessible in terms of flavors and preferences that your clients, i.e. the customers, want to see, right? So that is part of it being accessible. How about valuable? So you'll hear today in our superlatives, I get it. The value of our meal sometimes does contain our creativity because it's not lobster, it's not surf and turf budget, right? We have a narrow budget to really make this wow factor. And so we have to use the most bang for our buck and bring a valuable experience given our budget constraints. And so that's some of what we'll talk about through the Mystery Chef process as well. Guess what, guys? It's not going to be nutritional unless it's what? Consumed. So it's got to be edible. These were some challenging ingredients. And some of you took some interesting twists, and we'll share out those exciting things today when we talk with our panel, with some of our staff that are here from the schools that are going to be willing to talk about that actually got to eat the food and tried it with students and what their perception was. And then last but not least, because again, Tony's efforts are about stopping waste. In our Pasonic recipes, we always talk about upcycling. We talk about ways to improve and reduce food waste, batch cooking, looking at your production records and making sure you're doing a number with that. So the last bit of phase is it sustainable? So when we're looking at some of these melting pot recipes that come together from a mystery box, we hope it inspires in you to be able to look at some of your odds and ends at the end of a given month or inventory period, where you're trying to think creatively about how can I use this up and make sure that I'm not wasting food or wasting budget, right? So that is what FAVE stands for. And then bonus, we are a team supported by dietitians, and many of you know, not only is it 8, it's now 9. We gave bonus points for those people that really have looked at this and really tried to achieve an opportunity to serve students that have allergy restrictions, because it's a big topic of conversation, and it's also a struggle for us sometimes to find turnkey solutions to just heat and serve or buy in and serve. So being creative with scratch and attributes and allergens was part of our judging criteria. All right, so on to the awards, and the awards look like this. So not everybody's here today, but the award winners are getting a medal and they're getting a plaque, which we hope they put loud and proud. First of all, we'd love to see a caught doing something good photo when you get your medal, and put this up in your cafeteria, because many of you used your entire team to accomplish these recipes. So without further ado, we're going to go through these superlative awards. I kind of feel like I'm back in high school, like the yearbook, but let's go through these superlative awards with the first superlative award being fun team. So we talk about fun being one of these options in our kitchens to really inspire our teams to be innovative, to try to maybe work a little harder than just opening a box and heating something. Well, I can tell you again, Woodridge team led by Jess, every time I see them doing something, it's a costume, it's a music, it's a theme, it's an honoring of everything good, right? Dancing, music in a kitchen, all good things. And so when we saw their presentation of their mystery recipe, boy, did it ever have the bells and whistles. And it made me sad that I wasn't there for the actual production of it. Everybody from engaging in their principal and staff members to their students. And then again, just, these costumes, dancing, just laughing and really enjoying a good time. So the superlative award for most fun team goes to Jess Stone and Woodridge Middle School. Applause. All right, next one. Our Natalie, we know Natalie has, just thrived in her program by being innovative, but also making sure that she's checking the box. I mean, we all know we have key performance indicators. We talk about them almost every other month, where your plate has to be a certain cost, where you're leveraging the use of your commodities, where we're making it appealing, where we're making sure it's measured, it's standardized. And throughout the entire submission of Natalie's project, not to mention tagging in her son to really develop this cool video, it takes a village to really kind of connect all the dots. But what we loved most about Natalie's presentation was this idea that she had her finger on the pulse of the business. And so we gave Ms. Natalie Boardman at Miss Natalie Winkle at Boardman, might as well be Miss Natalie Boardman, the KPI Queen superlative. So congratulations to Natalie and her team for not only being excellent chefs, but being conscientious chefs as well. All right. So these are my kids, my family over at Talmadge. The middle school kiddos are so lucky to have Karen and her team, Sandy, her right arm. So they made about, 15 recipes. I don't know what they made out of it. It was a huge amount of recipes. So they had so much fun that they involved everybody in the kitchen. And they not only made one recipe for submission, but they created, these are snips of their pictures. They made their own recipe cards, and they just went crazy with involving everybody's opinion and support and collaboration in making it. So the best Kitchen Team Involvement Award goes to Karen McClintock and her team at Talmadge Middle School. And we appreciate all the efforts of coming together, even though I kind of twisted your arm, I'm always going to do that, but you are awesome. And you did awesome again, despite being in the middle of just finishing up your schoolwork, engaging additional opportunities. All right, next, Stowe Monroe Falls. So let's talk about somebody who's never been a food service director to now is their 3rd year in food service. Who's just like checking every box here, right? So the most comprehensive presentation goes to our team led by Jill at Stowe Monroe Falls. They did a spicy chicken power bowl with guacamole, and they had like the most organized, thorough submission, a live presentation, as well as a student tasting video and a staff tasting video to submit to us for review and the judging team to review. So most comprehensive presentation, checking all of those boxes, goes to our friends at Stowe Monroe Falls. So we appreciate you. Again, congratulations on really turning this into a program that you can call proudly your own in a very short period of time. All right. The next one, okay, these ladies were fun. Plus her name was Maureen. So I mean, again, I was only a little part of the judging, but I don't mean a lot of Marines. Maureen over there at Lake Cable and Jackson Local did a really great presentation. And she really took pride in looking at how it would be laid out, if it was organized in its instructions, as well as the plating of it. And so what we considered most likely to be featured in a cookbook would be for the thoroughness and the care given by Lake Cable at Jackson Local Schools. So congratulations, Marcia, for always being such a stellar star leader to your district and for your team at Lake Cable and their award for most likely to be featured in a cookbook. Who knows? Stay tuned. Next one is most styled plating. And okay, Jen, she's a stylish lady and now she has a chef doing some stylish plating over there in Plain Local. And so we gave the superlative for most stylized plate to Plain Local Schools. And I'm really hopeful that Jen will be super proud to hang that in the office because she is the queen of style and lives it, breathes it, teaches us all how to be stoic in our leadership in school districts and continues to be fabulous. So the most styled plate goes to our Plain Local fans over there with Amanda helping out with their recipe. All right, we talked about being creative. Okay, so not only was Andrew, he's not here today, but we're going to share with this accolade, being careful and cautious to really provide a great experience for a student that may become a future aspiring child nutrition leader. Most K-12 ready goes to Kenston and Andrew Mendez for really preparing his student to submit to us. Okay, so this is going beyond, and it's like the teacher has now become the student. So I remember when Andrew Mendez first started in schools, and now he is also passing that baton forward and helping craft young, aspiring professionals. And he gets the most K-12 ready because they had it plated up, portioned out, meeting all the components and making sure that we were showing it in that capacity to really connect the dots to a new person in the idea of what it takes to really be a good food service recipe. So Kenston gets the most K-12 ready award and also just a nod to being a good mentor and leader in Kenston for Andrew. All right, how many more of these do I have? Oh my gosh, it's going on and I love it. The best food photo. Okay, so we're learning because we're doing our cookbook, how to be good and creative with food photography. It doesn't take a lot. Many of you guys have iPhones and we do some lighting. This is like, again, I'm spoiled in this space. Some of the stuff you see at the Sandridge booth, a lot of that's photographed in here. All of us don't have that kind of budget, but boy, did we appreciate the time and effort it took to kind of think creatively about lighting and texture and a nice cutting board. I know we don't use wood in school, but this was just a beautiful presentation. And if I said the style award went to Plain Local, every day Marcia gets a style award. So Marcia at Jackson and her team at Sauter Elementary, those did a great presentation. And again, these ladies were at an elementary school and they thought way outside the box because they made this colorful, drizzled flatbread that just looked amazing. And I really thought, they did a great job with the photography as well. So we talk about putting your stuff out on social media, sharing with your fans, both your student fans and your parents, what's going on. Don't be your own best kept secret and use examples like our friends here in Jackson Local on how to up your game and take some pictures and post them out about what you're doing in your kitchen. All right. Most creative use of an ingredient. Okay, this one won. I will say, I rarely see Keith Amos go, wow, I didn't think of that. because this man uses every ingredient Sandridge has here and makes multiple different recipes out of it. The king of versatility would go to Keith Amos. But when he looked at Diana Hill and her ability to use a cauliflower mash as a breading for the chicken breast to make a gluten-free breaded chicken, he said, wow, I never thought of that. So kudos to you, Diana Hill, and your most creative use of an ingredient, and one that's really purposeful, because I know a lot of folks are looking for gluten-free options, and that idea of being able to use a vehicle like a smashed cauliflower and create that taste appeal, that golden crunch like a normal breaded chicken. Again, most creative use of an ingredient to Diana Hill. Oh gosh, he's not on here today, but boy, did we ever have a laugh when we talked to Mark Chase. So if you remember, Mark Chase is not a director or a cook. He is actually a food service staff member at Cuyahoga Heights, and Pam Mead is his direct supervisor. She has her hands full, but boy, did we ever enjoy a good laugh. He reminded me of the late, great Leslie Jordan, and I'm sure he wouldn't be offended because I love Leslie Jordan. He made me laugh the entire time he was presenting. He was a former chef and restaurateur, so he brings that lens of cynicism and sarcasm when it comes to all these rules and all these regulations and the components. And so we laughed, but boy, he again was one that did tons and tons of recipes, and this was the one he selected, which actually he called them chichi beans, which I call them chickpeas, garbanzo beans, but chichi beans is a fun way of saying vegetarian wrap using a lot of the ingredients, and it really, I think, is going to be a winner in his district and could be yours too. So the crafty comic who made us laugh and came up with a great recipe is Mark Chase from Cuyahoga Heights. And most likely to step out of the box, again, for those of you who hesitated to be a part of this because you said, oh, well, I'm not a Masonic school. Everyone is a Masonic school, and Upper Sandusky is an honorary Masonic school because they chose to be a part of this and received the box and did a really, really good job. Very careful in their presentation. But boy, I don't want to call them strangers because again, we all feel like family, but haven't had a lot of exposure to what we do at Team Masonic, and aren't currently with us in Healthy Pro or haven't come to a boot camp. So they found this as an exciting way to kind of step outside of the box, literally, and take a part of this. And we just thought that they deserve that superlative for being brave. So bravery is always a part of stepping out of your normal menu, and we really just applaud the efforts for Upper Sandusky. So before we go on to the next slide, I think we've got all the superlatives out, and I feel like we need a drum roll. So in studio today, we have with us the winner of the first ever annual Masonic Partners Mystery Chef Box, and that award winner to be presented by Keith Amos is our very own Jess Stone. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to have you here. Yep, get in the middle, winner. Winner, chicken dinner. I love it.
Chicken less
Chicken last dinner. Exactly. So we are going to allow these two to kind of talk about the process, and just, I can't think of anybody who deserves it more, but I know you're going to take it and share it with everybody in your district. Because boy, this was a affair of the heart for you guys at that Woodridge Middle School.
Absolutely.
Jess, you're all the way from your principal down, right? So,
Absolutely. Top to bottom. Yeah.
top to bottom. So talk to us a little bit about your recipe. And I think this is the fun part. So we're going to be able to see and talk and taste a little bit.
Okay,
Sure, do you want to start off?
sure. So my recipe was sweet and spicy veggie burger balls. So we've adapted it to something more compliant for the kiddos, and we made a veggie burger patty.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So to start off here, I mean, I'll kind of talk through the ingredients that you use. So we use the Sandridge cranberry orange relish. We use the quinoa from Sandridge as well as the fully cooked brown rice from Gordon Food Service that is made by us as well. In addition to that, we had some sweet potato, dried sweet potatoes, the kale mix, garlic, the oil, and the crushed red pepper
yeah.
flakes. Correct, yeah. So to start this off, you want to walk us kind of through how you put that all together?
Sure. So I started with just the one pan mix. So you could use your stove top or your flat top, or if you don't have one of those, you could do it in the oven. I used the stove, and I did a one pan. So I started with the olive oil, and I added the garlic and the onion, and then the crushed red peppers. I got that a little bit soft. Then I added the vegetables, I chopped it finely, whichever colors you want in there. Then we added the sweet potatoes next, and then the cranberries, and finally the quinoa.
And what would somebody use if they didn't have a skill or an ability to saute it.
You could definitely use your oven as well on a sheeted cookie tray with a little bit of olive oil on it. Just cook it till it's transparent and then just kind of add each ingredient into a bowl and mix it up.
Yeah, great. So when you're all done, you should have a mixture that looks something similar to that right there.
Yes.
Yep, so
beautiful.
once this is all done, go ahead and you can make this into the meatballs or
Meatballs or a patty.
a patty, correct? So if we were gonna do it into a patty, what's the most important thing about this whole thing when you're done mixing this?
Putting it in the freezer overnight. It helps
Right.
keep it together, of course, which is good, and it helps with the cooking.
Keeps them, hold them together.
Holds them
Yeah.
together, yes, because there's not a whole lot of binder, but there's enough in there.
And from the peanut gallery, I will say a prep ahead dish is always a good idea. If you have some time and you make this for a vegetarian option, you would make more than just a couple. And if you made a batch of it, you could freeze it and then pull them out for those special vegetarian menus when you have your burger bars, right?
Yes.
So we, again, we'll talk a little bit about the deliverable after this, but what Masonic ended up doing was being very inspired to take all the wonderful work that Jess and Keith did together on this project and really come up with a recipe that would be school friendly, costed in a way that would be supportive to your menu, as well as the tools and tips to use it on your burger bar. So we know that it can be in the form of a meatball, but we decided to do it as a patty because we know many of you struggle with getting a vegan or a vegetarian option available that's costed effectively and that is available to pull from the freezer and ready to serve on your burger bars that pop up on your menu. So we appreciated the versatility, but I also love the idea of like work harder, work smarter, not harder, right?
Yes.
So make it once, freeze it, and I thought because it even works better in the oven that way when you heat it. Tell us a little bit about the next step once you pull it out. How do you make it look like this, which is what we love to see. Beautiful, colorful tray.
Okay, so again, you could use your stovetop or you could use the oven. I use the oven and you did as well.
Yep.
So we flipped it. Did you flip yours?
Yep, I did. Yep. Just once you flip it, the key part is just once this is made, you let it set for a minute, couple minutes. And the texture is you can really actually feel it just kind of binding together, very easy. So yes, that really helps out by getting it to that room temperature for a minute or to at least let it get to bind. Once that part happens, it goes right into your oven and it'll pretty much hold at that point in time. Now, throwing it directly into the oven, you would not have to flip it. But doing it into a pan or something like that, yes, you would have to flip it over. But other than that, that's pretty much it, right? Bake them off and so you want to pull the tray over there and show them the final. Sure. Figure's gonna flip down to the top there.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this colorful tray and it speaks to our love language of making it visually appealing, helping a dietary attribute, being a popular menu item like a burger, but also being, plated together with things that are found on your DoD or your supply chain funds. So when you look at these types of recipes, we really want to make sure that we're looking at all of the pieces and we just can't thank you enough. I do want to say we have some videos that we brought with us to share because you did such a good submission. And again, I talked about them getting those superlative for the most fun. And I thought we have the time, we're going to share with you some of the fun that Jess and her team had creating this special recipe for all of you. So we're going to share the video with you now. Well, that was sure fun. And I don't know if you got to hear the music, but we were dancing back here. So just dance even now today. Tell us a little bit and tell who's your friend.
The king of Flavortown. So we took the bus to Flavortown. That's what we did. Yeah.
Again, best in show, best in fun, great idea. And so you saw in there it was a meatball, right? So we want to acknowledge the fact that we took the recipes all created by all of the teams. And I think if we go back to the slides, I'd be remiss if I didn't say it was darn close, girl. You were sweating a little bit. These scores, it is unreal how close these scores were. So honorable mentions, I have to say, I wish I had time today to show all the videos. I think with permissions of the schools, we'll be sharing these out and some of the after messaging for today's event. Because look at that, 1 point, Natalie, 1 point. And Natalie's video was so cool and her son helped her with it. So there are lots of resources available. And then of course, my team at Talmadge, lots of ability to have time with your team and share and be excited. And speaking of time with our team, I'm going to open it up now to the Mystery Box Chef panel. So if we go to the next slide, everybody who is a participant, if you'd like to unmute yourself and put your video on, I'm just going to ask a couple of questions because I think one of the things we have to all agree upon is that everybody won in this. I mean, I felt like I was a winner. I was so excited to see the enthusiasm, to see these recipes. Our team was super excited to make them into school-friendly recipes that we're going to share with you as a resource at the end of today. But let's hear from our panelists. I'll let Jess start with the first question. When you got that box, what did you think?
Gosh. So when we finally got to see the ingredients, I was nervous at first. It was kind of overwhelming and I thought, well, what? But then as I studied it, it kind of just jumped out at me. But I got the girls involved. I gave them a copy of the ingredients list, the pantry list, the rules, so they could kind of look at it for the long weekend. And but I just went into full recipe mode. I mean, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And it just, like I said, it kind of jumped out at me. And I figured I wanted to be and use every single item. That was my goal. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the challenge and be determined to do it. But then I was like, well, I don't really want to use the chicken because I'm a vegetarian. And that was my first thought, was to do something vegetarian. So I thought of a veggie burger patty actually first, but then I thought, well, I want to make the entree something more involved and use more of the ingredients. So then I was thinking of the veggie burger balls. So I kind of jotted the recipe down and I talked with the girls and gave them a copy of it and they all thought it was awesome. So we just decided to go ahead and make it. We did a little bit of tweaking and first time we made it, we were happy with the results.
I love that. I love that. And speaking of someone who prides herself on using every darn ingredient, hi, Natalie.
How are you?
When you thought about I see you on the screen up there. When you opened your box and were like bound and determined, you were like, I'm doing this.
Well, super competitive. My assistant is super competitive as well. And she's like, we have to use every single ingredient. So we did, and it turned out really, really well. I think my favorite part was probably the sweet potato crisp, because who would think you would take dried sweet potatoes and some cauliflower mash and make it into something that you could actually enjoy eating. So it was fun.
I love it. I love it. I love it for you and your team. I see the dynamic duo of Talmadge up there on the screen too. So Sandy's first thing was, Karen, what did you sign us up for now? Tell me a little bit, Karen and Sandy, when you opened that box, what did you think about that?
We thought, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to use and what are we going to do with all this stuff? So that's why we came up with so many recipes. There was so much stuff in there and we wanted to utilize it all.
Yeah.
So I gave them the list of stuff, and just like Jess' team, they had it to look at it and see what they might want to do with it over the weekend. It came back in and we all got together and, worked on things, just coming up with things and working on each other, bouncing back and forth, seeing different things that would work together.
I love it. So as you're hearing our chefs talk about it, Marge just dropped in the chat their recipes. So we put the recipes into a usable form. So you're going to get their exact recipes of what they competed with, and then you're going to get a little Casonic version of them, again, to help you meet commodity use and cost, as well as be able to kind of continue to use these lovely ingredients that we see and know are accessible, and probably didn't know we can order directly from GFS, and it comes right from Medina, Ohio. So it doesn't get really more local than this, I don't
Right.
think. So we're building the local love here. So my second question, unless there's any other chef that wants to add, what was their first impression of the mystery box? Anybody else on our team? I see Jill and we have Amanda. Anybody unmute, feel free to give me your first impression.
Mine was, I just loved seeing the quinoa and the dark greens and making a Brussels sprout that the kids would eat rather than it smelling stinky when you steamed it. So mine was trying to go healthy to bring in all of those types of things in. So that was mine.
I love it. I love it. Jill, first impression, besides, wow, I signed up for food service 3 years ago. Well, I never knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, I mean, mainly it was just there was a lot and wasn't sure where to go with it. But I think once we were able to pull it all together, we had a fun time making our dish. So
I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to ask the second question. And again, I'm going to defer to our queen and champion. The second question I'm going to ask is, tell me, it's not always about us. It is most days, because, we like to be the divas of our kitchens. But, it's about how we share this information out with our communities. Tell me a little bit how you took the challenge of inviting in your staff and your students to engage in this process with you.
Okay, so I did definitely ask the girls, I give them all the information to do, and then we talked about the recipe. We talked about the theme and the costume that we wanted to come up with, which we did with much laughter and a lot of impersonations in the kitchen with all the other chefs on TV, but we decided with Flavortown. Then I got with our principal, our amazing principal, Jesse Hosford, and he agreed to help whatever he could with testing, and we, our custodian, our lunchroom monitor, a really cool sub teacher, and some of our 8th grade students. We had them taste it, and we told them what was going on, what the contest that we were in, and they were all super excited to be a part of it.
Oh my gosh, I just love it. Talk about school spirit, team spirit, bringing in. We do love Jesse. I love Jesse. He's a great leader in that school, and just love that he loves you and what you guys do, and being a queen of tri-days and costumes and themes. So I love that. So
Love that.
I know that I know we had several other schools engage their students. And so if I can get somebody to volunteer and tell us a little bit about how you thought about that and what you did when you, I think Stowe had some videos of students too. So maybe we'll pick on Stowe again, but certainly anybody else, please raise your hand and unmute and go let us know what you're thinking about engaging your community. I think you need to unmute, Joe. If you're chatting.
you're right, I do.
Yeah, drive carefully. Just
Okay. No, I'm stopped. I promise.
okay.
We did a we tried it with our kids, but because we wanted to create something that our kids would enjoy, because if we're just making it for adults, that's a different story. So we needed to find something. So we came in on Sunday, we made the dish. On Monday, we had the kids try it. We took it out to the study hall, had maybe 15 kids try it. We had our staff try it as well. We shared videos on that. And then on Wednesday, when we came back in to make it, we made it in front of with the judges, but it was a snow day. So we were like, well, we have all this food left over. So then we took it home to our families to enjoy for the night. So it was actually kind of everybody got to enjoy it. So it was nice.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And hard working through a snow day, boy. We're not going to get many of those. So I'm honored that you continued on with that. And most people are like, snow day, that's why I'm in this business, but we appreciate all the extra effort. Who else on our panel wants to talk a little bit about engaging their school community or their students in the process of the Mystery Chef? Please unmute. I think I see Diana unmuting. Diana Hill. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're busy and I really appreciate your recipe was most want to invite me over for a Friday cocktail and spend time. But I couldn't give that superlative. You know that's my skill anyway about you. But tell me a little bit about engaging in your community, how you always do it, not just for Mystery Chef, but talk to us a little bit about Mystery Chef and engaging your students and your staff.
Well, we were short on time and I was going out of town. So I made the dish at my house actually. And I called my principal because he lives near me. And I said, how about dinner tonight for you and your wife?
Wow.
And I'll DoorDash you some dinner, but I need you to help me out as a taste tester. So I wrapped his dish up and he stopped by and picked up the dish and then went home, and him and his wife made the video and they loved it. And then he was like so worried because when he brought me back the dish, he had chipped it coming in. No big deal.
Casualty of the award. Well, we know and appreciate you doing so many try days, and every time you get an opportunity to work with Fuel Up to Play 60 or a smoothie, you really are somebody that believes in engaging your school community. Any advice for people listening today about not only developing a process of menu innovation, but just that whole idea of engaging try days in your students? Give us some pointers.
It's like really important, like you said, with like the elementary students. That's who I usually do my try days with. We do Brussels sprouts, asparagus, all the local. We're, part of Creation Gardens, ordering from them, and DOD. I was just down in Columbus at the Ohio Proud Summit. So there was a lot of local right there. And my friend Lisa McGonigal, who owns Cleveland Ketchup, she's a Fairview resident. And she came in and we did a try day with her ketchup with the high schoolers. So we had the ghost pepper, which that was their favorite. The bourbon bacon, but we called it bacon because we didn't want any kids going home saying they had bourbon today. And then she has a dill and a classic. So I'm really trying to get her on our local bid process. And Allison was there, so she got her information. But I really support local and all the fresh fruits and vegetables. And I just get excited about all of that stuff. And so, yeah, just
Great. We just appreciate and love you very much. Continue go local and innovating, because you continue to be a part of everything that we know is good in school. So we appreciate you. Anybody else on the panel that wants to talk about their school engagement? I know, Natalie, I said already your son, again, I can't tell you how many times my kids were my first try day kids, here, try this. But, I definitely am happy to hear anybody else about advice or tips as a part of the Mystery Chef process, how you engaged your school and celebrated it, really, because it really became a competition for your whole school. Everybody's cheering you on back there. I know they were like, can we have the link to join so we can see her get an award? So very cool. Anybody else, thoughts from the panel? I can't really see everybody who's on, so I apologize, but we do have everybody, but I don't know, Sarah, if there's anybody way you can help me out. I know I see Miss Marcia, but I don't know if her team members are with her. The last question we have for panel, as we kind of are wrapping it up and talking about the resources we developed, would really be, I don't want this to be a one-hit wonder. So we want to do this again at some point, but we also want you to think about how recipes like this can become sustainable parts of your school program. So you saw what we did live with Jess's recipe. We are going to be giving you the actual recipes that were competed on, and then the Pasonic versions that we think. But talk to me a little bit about, how do you think ideas like the ingredients you saw brought to you in the box, how do you think those can live on in your program?
Well, some of them, we already have.
Mhm.
So I made the quinoa and the rice and the slaw mix. The red pepper flakes are always very flavorful. So I would love to work on some more one pot, one mix ideas. Love that. And I loved using the different glazes and the different sauces to try to come up with a different type of pasta sauce and a different type of glaze.
I love it.
Just even cooking with it or dressing with it. It was really fun to cook with.
You brought up a great point. Many of you made like a boom boom sauce or a signature sauce. I know, Natalie, you did. Tell us a little bit about you were like, I can make this and use it versatility, like on my burger, on my wing bar. So talk to us a little bit about how you think you'll use some of these lessons learned for future.
The sauce was really amazing. And I mean, we were like amazed that the amount of ingredients that we put together, we thought, oh, this is going to be bad because there was a lot of ingredients in it. It turned out so good that it's like great now to use on a wrap, on a sandwich, on a burger, on a fish taco, on a chicken taco. It's really good. I'm like trying to get it, I'm going to develop the recipe and patent it and become a millionaire here. But,
Retire.
it was really good. So one of the things that I really liked about doing the mystery box is maybe we won't have the bagged rice or the pre-prepped rice or the pre-prepped quinoa, but we have leftovers. And we're always struggle on how can we redo a leftover to make it not be a leftover. So, I mean, when we make rice, we're going to make rice to feed our kids. If that isn't a big rice day for the kids, well, then we can reuse it in this dish that we made and repurpose it. So
I love
that for me.
I love that versatility, making a wow sauce that could be patented and future accolades, but also just the common sense of schools. And again, KPI Queen for your award is like don't want to waste a thing. And I love your diligence and stewardship of your district's finances and your menu too. I think that just is awesome. Anybody else? Final words? We're like up against the hour here, and I think we needed like more time because I can't stop talking and smiling about this process. But Karen, Sandy, anything for the final? Jill, Diana, unmute, please, just all of you. First of all, let's give everybody a round of applause. All of our mystery chef contestants and process. We're gonna go quickly back to the slides, but stay unmuted. Give some feedback because the slides are going to show you. And we're going to be dropping into the chat. For those of you who are here, also, we will be sending out our post recap with the recording of this. So if you want to show your mom or your grandma because you are a winner, you all are winners, and I know my mom is, always crazy about what we do. So what we did as a gift to all of you, and inspired by our chefs, is we created a school nutrition recipe book in partnership with Sandridge and Gordon Food Service. So you will all be able to download all of the recipes our contestants put together into a nice little cookbook, really look at it. And again, if you're interested, I'm sure people would let us share their videos and photos to kind of see how it all came together. And as Pasonic, just as a thank you, again, a very humble thank you to the month of February, the food love, the love is food, the food hugs. I want to remind everybody that our cookbook launched. So we are now accepting pre-orders. So we announced some VIPs in December. Your books are getting to be fulfilled. We didn't forget about you. Your Christmas present was on back order, let's say. But we are certainly excited for those of you who like to hold on to something and take notes and write in it. We are going to be dropping in the chat and in the post analysis of this day in your email a way to pre-order a cookbook. We want you to think outside of the box every day, and we hope this book inspires you to think about things in different ways. And know that out of the box trainings, again, will be as a part of our post What's Up Wednesday analysis to you. Sign up or steal our idea, please. Steal our idea. It would make us happy if you did your own mystery chef in your school between your kitchens and then gave us those pictures for caught doing something good. So that's a call to action. So whatever. And we have a new judge. She won one. She'll be a judge next time. So we appreciate all of you. We appreciate you, Keith, and thank you for having us on your home.
Congratulations. Thank you all.
Thank you all to everybody who watched today. We are certainly forever grateful for you. We hope you had a great time watching this hour. We had a great time talking about it. And hopefully we'll be back in the future with another round of the Mystery Chef. So stay tuned. Watch your emails for information about how to sign up for your cookbook and trainings with us. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.